A very good morning to you, Vivian, DJ Unique, and of course to you joining us from wherever you are across the country and also here in Nairobi. My name is Yambo, and I'll definitely be bringing you up to speed with what is happening in as far as the news is concerned. The Finance Bill 2024 still causing a lot of and even members of parliament. All that will be coming up in the news this morning, including business and sports. So I guess, Vivian and DJ, let me take it over from there.
Yes, please.
Yes. So Kenya may be forced to pay more for fuel if the amendments to the finance bill are passed and assented into law. The 38.9% increase in the road levy, meaning the levy charged on fuel will be increased from 18 shillings per litre to 25 shillings per litre. Let's get the details of that story.
After widespread hue and cry from the public yesterday, Kenya emerged from the parliamentary group meeting at State House with a raft of proposal to the Amendment Finance Bill 2024. Among the proposal was to drop the value-added tax on bread, removal of 2.5% motor circulation tax, and removal of transportation, among other proposals.
Many of the amendments that have been proposed by the Finance Committee in a big way cure the numerous concerns that Kenyans had over this finance bill.
2023 bill, which is already draconian enough, but is less draconian than this one. Let us reject this bill. The 2023 bill will continue, and let us have a bipartisan approach to budget making so that we can sit down and agree on the basic minimum that must be included in that budget.
Amendments are yet to be captured in the bill that went out for debate today in Parliament. If the proposed finance bill amendments come into law, fuel prices will go up as the government proposes to substitute the 2.5% motor vehicle tax with an increase in road maintenance levy. In the amendment, the road levy will be increased by 7 shillings to 25 shillings per litre.
There's a new clause to this bill, which was not there, called road maintenance levy. And you are telling us clearly that you have not been able to collect enough levy in this year than previous year because the prices of fuel was high, and you are proposing to increase it here by 7 shillings, but I'm told, I have information that you are going to move it to 9 shillings when we come to the Committee of the Whole House.
You should know better that an increase in the fuel prices is contained under regulations on the Kenya Roads Board Act, and therefore introduction of increase of fuel. It is just a matter of simple logic that such an experienced legislator should know, Honorable Speaker.
The proposal are also seeking to scrap the value-added tax on financial services because banking services will be out of reach. The amendment bill also proposes to scrap the 16% VAT on bread.
This government is giving you with the right hand and taking with another, the left hand. Why do I say so? We are being lied to as a country that now VAT on bread is going to be reduced, which anyway was not there in the first place. You are the ones who came up with this crazy idea.
It set for a marginal increase after the government proposed elimination of a 25% excess duty but maintained the 2% levy on nut and crops directive. Increase in excess duty on telephone from 15 to 20% has been dropped in the proposed amendments. However, the Finance Committee has retained the equal levy on imported diapers and sanitary pads on grounds that it will go a long way in promoting local manufacturing.
As a user, as a mother, as a woman leader, I am greatly concerned that the price of sanitary towels and diapers is not only going to affect the mothers and the users of those items, affect the budget of individual homes.
Well, let's move on. A debate on the Finance Bill 2024 in the National Assembly lived up to its billing as members passionately presented their views of the contentious proposed laws, while members from the majority party argued that the bill is the best fix for the economy. Those on the minority side maintain that they will reject the document in its entirety to protect Kenyans from being hoodwinked by vague amendments.
On the Finance Bill 2024 on the floor of the House on Wednesday, proposed amendments to the bill took center stage. The majority side saying the new proposals give the bill a new face.
Honorable Speaker, this bill provides additional money to CDF, the best fund in this country. Honorable members across the divide, the best monitored, the most monitoring, the most evaluated.
There were antagonistic clauses, Mr. Speaker, that were offensive. These clauses, Mr. Speaker, have been attended to in the right place. And there are even proposals to drop some of these offensive clauses, Mr. Speaker.
Views that were opposed by the minority side, who argue that the devil may be in the detail.
The bill that we read has not been amended. What we are listening to is stories, Mr. Speaker. Because when we go to the committee of the whole House, what guarantee do we have that the proposals we've been told about here will pass?
Huyu mama mboga katika hii bajeti yuko wapi? Huku unasema umeondoa kuongezwa kwa ushuru wa mkate, ushuru wa tairi, lakini hapo Bwana Spika umeenda mafuta.
The discourse was not without its fair share of drama.
Ikiwa sisi tunaongeza mpaka kwa magonjwa, tunaongeza tuna tax ugonjwa.
Umewekwa kwa wagonjwa wa saratani. Na ningetaka kwamba nieleze ni kipengele kipi katika huu mswada ambao unaongea kuhusu hiyo.
Mama Zamzam, that is a fair challenge.
Ngoja nipe nafasi Mheshimiwa Spika, nitaiangalia kisha kipengee mahali kiko, lakini kiko Mheshimiwa Spika, nipigieni kelele, mimi sijali.
Honorable Zamzam, if it is in the bill, point out to the chair of the committee. If it isn't, just withdraw and move on with your other contributions.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Nafikiri nimechanganyikiwa na ile import duty na hii ya hospitali. Mimi nataka niwaambie kitu moja.
Honorable Zamzam.
Mheshimiwa Spika, nimekubali.
Kama haiko uiondoe alafu endelee.
Haiko Mheshimiwa Spika, lakini
debate is set to continue through Thursday, with the members seeking to add more amendments urged to do so by Thursday afternoon.
Now, Chief Justice Martha Koome has hailed slain Principal Magistrate Monica Kivuti for her high integrity in following the law when administering justice. This comes as the Judicial Service Commission reveals that the accused person in the matter that led to the fatal shooting of the magistrate had absconded court on different occasions, that is, and presented false medical documents in court.
The accused person in the case that led to the fatal shooting of Principal Magistrate Monica Kivuti was facing charges of obtaining 2.9 million shillings by false pretense. Further details indicate she had failed to attend court on 7 different occasions, which include the 23rd of November 2022, 7th of March 2023, 9th of May 2023, 5th of December 2023, 7th of May 2024. A warrant of arrest was issued and cash bill forfeited. 13th of May 2024 and 30th of May 2024. Medical Council for authentication would later prove false.
As there were no medical documents to prove that the accused person was indeed sick, counsel for the accused person then apologized to the court for the misinformation, stating that it was given to her by the accused person and her husband. The counsel requested for leniency and applied for reinstatement of the bond on humanitarian grounds.
Principal Magistrate to order that a pre-bail report be filed in court within 14 days. The accused be remanded at Langata Women's Prison. The officer in charge Langata Women's Prison to avail an ambulance to escort the accused person to hospital for treatment, and the matter be set for mention on the 27th of June 2024 for pre-bail report and hearing on the 6th of August 2024.
The Honorable Magistrate observed that the hearing of the case was being delayed due to the accused person's failure to attend court.
As a result, the magistrate was by an assailant accompanying the accused person.
The said assailant was a senior police officer. Commend the garant officers who responded to protect the Honorable Magistrate and other court users. And in return, of these officers sustained injuries, and one of them is still recuperating in hospital.
Henceforth, judiciary services will no longer be rendered in makeshift structures as the judiciary upscales the use of virtual courts, engage Parliament for sufficient resource allocation, expedite the completion of 4 courts within Nairobi, which include Mihango, Huruma, Kasarani and Dagoretti, in order to decongest Makadara, Milimani and Kibera. Structure the Judiciary Police Unit and the Directorate of Administration and Security to address the security gaps. Meanwhile, Makadara law courts will remain closed until further notice.
Thank you, Sarafina Robi. Now, President William Ruto says that the government will build Nairobi and Kericho to boost value addition in the tea sector. Speaking during the launch of the new tea brand called Chai Gold in Kericho County, the head of state said that the facilities to cost 2 billion shillings will set to improve Kenya's tea branding from the current 5% to 9% and 50% by 2029.
The tea value chain will see improvements through blending and branding initiatives spearheaded by the government in a bid to reduce raw exports and earn Kenya the much needed foreign exchange.
That is why we are focused on ensuring that we promote our production and productivity so that we can stop imports and we can be self-sustainable and we can save our foreign currency.
This became evident during the launch of Ketapa's new brand of tea known as Chai Gold.
Vile vile tunaona mapato in the last consecutive, now 2022, 100 and almost 40 billion. 2023, 180 billion. 2024, 210 billion. That is a good trajectory.
President William Ruto said improving branding and value addition of tea in the country will make other countries stop repackaging Kenya's produce and selling them as their own.
Kwa miaka hii yote, hiyo chai yetu nzuri inatumika kufanya blending ya chai zingine ambazo zio maarufu na haina premium kama hii yetu, tunasaidia watu wengine kuuza chai yao.
The government and the Kenya Tea Development Agency KTDA will be working closely with tea-growing counties to contribute to the 2 billion shillings to set up 2 common user facilities to serve the country.
Serikali ya Kenya nimeambiwa ya kwamba mnahitaji karibu shilingi bilioni 1.5 kuweka facility ya common user kule eastern part of the country, na hapa mnahitaji shilingi milioni 500. So hiyo ni karibu shilingi bilioni 2. Kwa hiyo bilioni 2 nyinyi mtatoa bilioni 1, sisi tutatoa bilioni 1.
The head of state acknowledging that the branding of the produce, which is currently at 5%, needs to improve to 9% in the next financial year.
Ile kilo milioni 5 munafanyia value addition kila mwaka itaongezeka kutoka kilo milioni 5 mpaka kilo milioni 15 kupitia kwa sehemu hii.
The president using the occasion to urge leaders to tour Kenya as part of their legislative agenda.
Na mimi na governor huyu, hawa wadosi wako hawa umewaintroduce hapa, waharakishe ile mambo ya kupitisha mambo ya town. Sinyini mko na hiyo network kama? Nimeambiwa next week, bwana speaker, lini? Next week? Tuesday. Aya, Tuesday kila mtu report kwa assembly.
This comes barely days after Treasury Cabinet Secretary Professor Njuguna Ndogo told MPs that the agricultural sector will receive 54.6 billion shillings in the next financial year to boost food security in the country and, more importantly, ensure that farmers are paid on time. Abdiaziz Hashim from Kericho County.
Thank you, Abdiaziz Hashim. And on that note, let's take a break. I'll be back with more news. Thank you for staying with us. Let's look at business now, where the reopening of the newly renovated Terminal 1C at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport is slated for this month. The terminal is expected to ease international departures and improve traffic flow at the country's premier airport. Transport Principal Secretary Mohammed Dagar says a comprehensive overhaul of JKIA's infrastructure is underway to bring its passenger terminal and runway, taxiway, apron and airside facilities up to global standards.
Terminal 1C was closed to the public last year to allow renovation of the decades-old terminal. Before its closure, the terminal was handling about 1.2 million departures. The reconstruction of the terminal is part of a government plan to overhaul the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in a phased-out approach. The facility has been facing many teething challenges that recently overwhelmed the airport, such as the recurrent power blackouts and leaking roofs.
We had issues with electricity, we had issues with the leakages. We have sorted that out, especially the electricity is fully sorted.
You will notice that we have taken extensive repairs at our facility. We have restored the stable power supply at all the terminals. We have also addressed some of the challenges, infrastructure challenges we have been facing, including putting up a roof canopy. Terminal 1A all the way to Terminal 1D.
The upgrade of JKIA facilities is set to benefit not just its passengers, but also its anchor tenant, Kenya Airways.
The hub is extremely critical. Actually, without a proper hub, it is impossible for us to expand. The hub that we have here at JKIA has got constraints, particularly as we continue to expand both our frequencies and our destinations.
Once the renovations are done, the capacity is expected to jump from the current 8 to 13 million passengers annually. Transport Principal Secretary Mohammed Dagar says the reopening of Terminal 1C will help address capacity bottlenecks at JKIA.
We want a throughput of over 25 million passengers by the year 2050, and we're determined to do that by enhancing the JKIA as a premier facility.
This is the launch of Kenya Airways 3 weekly flights to Maputo, Mozambique.
So we just relaunched the flight to Maputo this morning. It gives a lot of opportunity to connect Southern Africa to East Africa and onward to the rest of the world.
This is the third new passenger route for KQ this year, after Mogadishu, Somalia, and Eldoret in Uasin-Gishu County.
Let's move on a nationwide wildlife census to document the country's wildlife population and their habitats. Wildlife and Tourism Cabinet Secretary Dr. Alfred Mutua says the data obtained will be key in guiding future conservation, that is, and management of wildlife resources to minimize human-wildlife conflict.
Marked over 200 million shillings for a second nationwide wildlife census, which is set to conclude in June 2025. The funds allocated will help support advanced methodologies including satellite imagery, GPS tracking and drone surveys.
This team will not only be looking for wildlife, they will be looking for any illegal activity or reference and produce them in maps that will produce at the end of the exercise.
This data is critical for us in our planning and in whatever we need to do. We are going to use the data to identify important wildlife areas, and also it will also guide us in establishing conservancies, inform protected areas and ecosystems, and also it will help us in our reviewing our wildlife strategy and the current review of Wildlife Act.
During the launch in Narok County, Mutua noted that the National Wildlife Census 2024 will be key in advancing the country's conservation agenda, setting the country on the global stage as local on strides made in wildlife conservation and community involvement.
We want to know their location. We also want to know their behavior, whether we are reducing or increasing the numbers.
We are experiencing serious human-wildlife conflict across the landscape. So as we count these animals, we're bringing information
be able to support government and be able to guide us into the resources that we can be able to tap.
This comes 3 years after the first ever national wildlife census, which revealed a 5% steady growth in elephant population to 36,280 from a low of 20,000 in 1989 due.
A look at sports now, where Kenya has been pulled with Brazil and Japan yet again in the 2024 Paris Olympic Games to be held from next month in France. The draw was conducted yesterday in Bangkok after 12 teams to the 16th edition were confirmed this week.
Malkia strikers will face Brazil, Poland and Japan at the Paris 2024 Olympic draw conducted in Thailand. Pool A has France, USA, China and Serbia, while Pool C comprises of Italy, Turkey, Netherlands and Dominican Republic. The Olympic volleyball tournaments at Paris 2024 will be played under a new format starting with 3 round-robin pools of 4. The pool winners, the pool runners-up and the 2 best-ranked third-place teams would advance to the quarterfinals for the start of the single elimination bracket that will lead to the semi-finals and eventually to the medal matches to determine the Olympic podium. The Paris 2020 will be held at the South Paris Arena in the French capital from 27th July to 11th August in a search for the 16th Olympic volleyball champions.
Now, the newly crowned FKF Premier League champions Gor Mahia FC lost their third match of the season, beaten 4-2 by Talanta FC at the Kasarani Stadium. Talanta has now moved to the 14th position with 37 points, escaping the relegation zone after that win. Poster Rangers 2-1, while Kakamega Homeboys defeated visitors Moranga Seals by a solitary goal. Sofapaka drew 1-1 with Nairobi City Stars, while Bidco United lost 3-0 against Shabana FC. Muhoroni Youth thrashed the already relegated Nzoia Sugar 6-0. The 2023-24 FKF Premier League season ends this Sunday.
Ile 1v1 dhidi ya mchezaji. Petro anaileta ndani. Upewe nini hata? Freda Mbani kakake Boniface Mbani. Nafasi sasa ile nzuri. Jericho Tanga.
Well, that's where we end the news this morning. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Maria Yambo. Coming up next is DJ Unique and Vivian Degwa to take you through the rest of Good Morning Kenya.